Okay, hello everyone. I am Dian-Han from National Central University in Taiwan. And today I'm going to share my project with you. It's called Emotion Detection of Characters Dialogues in Chinese Classic Novels. And we take Jinping Mei as an example. And first, I would like to say thank you to all these researchers and professors who support me. Yashi Chan gave me a good suggestion and good direction of study. And Professor Wei-Shu, she helped me to understand the corpus. And last but not least, the Professor Tzong-Han Tsai here. And he helps me a lot to make this project. And first, I would like to say newbie alert, because this is my first time to the conference. Yeah. So maybe I'm very nervous and excited because all of you guys are very would like to be here and would like to know more about emotion study, and I'm very happy. And then let's take a look at the introduction part. So I will go for introduction and methodology of my project and show the result to everyone, and then give you a short conclusion and future work. So let's look at the introduction. So there are three elements in my research. One of them is large language model, which is very familiar in digital humanities, I think. And also the emotion detection is also the core of the study. And last but not least, the Chinese classic novel. So I want to start with the short things. So imagine there are a bunch of human experts, and they are very interested in novel study, especially about characters. And one day, they would like to know, oh, can we get some emotions, trend, or emotion among characters? So they start to read through the novels because they would like to study more deeply into these characters and know their emotions. But there are two problems. The first one is it is waste of time and human resources. And the second one is lots of chapters and characters. Yeah, there are lots of chapters. For example, Jinping may have 100 chapters and maybe 300 or 400 different characters. If these human experts just keep reading this novel, maybe they will get very, very old and give you a more deeply research. But I think it is too much work. So I think maybe we can use some new techniques. So I think large language model can help us read through the novels. You think that large language model could like an assistant and who is very specializing, especially for sentiment analysis. And also, human experts could do the research based on the output by large language models. Before we started, I'm going to show you my methodology. I think the value of my research is about the whole workflow and methodology, because I know it is not very, very unique or not very precise study, but I would like to take a little step in this field about sentiment analysis and characters. And I would like to briefly introduce the Jinping Mei, the corpus we picked. So this is a novel written in Chinese in Ming Dynasty. And it is full of human desires and complexity of morality, which is made it is very, very rich of these emotional contents. And emotional content is what we would like to analyze. So we pick this as our target corpus. So let's go to the methodology part. Before we start, I would like to share with you the format. You will see on your left side, your left side is the workflow, and the right side is the format of my method. The title part will talk about the title, and the method part will introduce our method. And the example, you can see how it works to put it into practice. So the first part is called dialogue extraction. We extract the dialogues out of the novels. by characters. So you just pick one characters and use very simple way. For example, I use the simple way is use the colon symbol by picking each character's name and then get their dialogues out of the chapters. So you will get lots of dialogues from each chapters by maybe one characters you would like to analyze. And then the next part is sentiment analysis, which we use large language models to help us to do that. As you can see, we combine a prompt design with large language model. We use GPT 3.5, which is a very old version, but yeah, you know that we can choose different models in the future. And then we use 8 emotions as our target. And then the large language model will predict each different emotions by dialogues. So we pick 8 emotions because we think that Plush's will is a classic, maybe classic emotions theory in this time. And we just pick 8 basic emotions. Yeah, 8 of these. And I will use lots of emojis, yeah, for everyone to get into my. Yeah, and let's introduce the prompt design. So the prompt design, the first part is the emotional category. Yeah, we need to let large language model know which of these 8 emotions to detect. And then the next part, use the number 0 to indicate the absence of emotion and 1 to indicate the emotion is detected. It's just a binary system for us to get a good output. And then the next part is forbidden instruction. As you know that large language models sometimes are too friendly and would like to help us, but these large language models just keep talking and sometimes talk too much. So we need to do the forbidden part because you know that sometimes there are too many outputs. We will need to pay more to maybe ChatGPT or other large language model. And the final part is to define output formats because we found that define the output format, sometimes it may not work, but I think lots of time, it really helps us to reduce these words output from the large language model and just to get a 0 or 1 as our result. And then next part is emotional scoring. So we just calculate by chapters and put all the dialogues into the calculation part. You can see that each chapter will get maybe the mean value of the dialogues because you know that there are lots of dialogues in one chapter. So we will do a calculation in one chapter and get the result of emotional score. And here we are going to the result part. So I'm going to show you the example of the results and talk about the character and the analysis part. So this one is called, I think, okay, maybe I just use my mouth. Yeah, it is emotional spectrum analysis. So this graph might be very complex, but it shows that 8 different emotions beyond these chapters. You can see a different color indicates different emotions, and researchers or other readers who are interested in these characters or emotion could see through the novel and see through this graph. And then they could find some interesting part by the graph. For example, maybe sometimes they just found, oh, why did this character is happy in the chapter 1 to 10, but get down maybe to the next chapter part, they can see through the whole graph and then get a more inspiration for studying. And also, there is a little weird way, because if you remember, I just say that there are 100 of chapters in Jinping-mei, but why it is getting 0 after 80 chapters? So we'll take a closer look. So we need to introduce the main character we pick. This main character is called Ximeng Qing, and it is the main character in Jinping-mei, our corpus. So we want to detect the emotions across each chapter. There are totally 100 chapters. But why? So 3, 2, 1. The answer is he passed away in chapter 18. Aww. Okay. And the next one is called focus emotion analysis. So you can see that it is just I think the simplified version of the last graph. So this one is anger score beyond 80 chapters by Qi. So you can see this is the anger emotion by chapters. And also we can pick different emotions and do a different focus emotion analysis. And then you can see that sometimes, for example, this example shows that the joy emotion are way more than surprise emotion in these dialogues. And then also, we'd like to introduce another one. I think it is very alike like your study. Yeah, it is segment. So we pick 2 different emotions and do some comparison with them. I think that we should just use different emotions you pick. We can see the whole graph more precisely, and then watch the difference or trend in these different emotions. So conclusion. First, we introduced a new methodology about the workflow. Yeah, workflow and framework of the methodology. First, we do a dialogue extraction and prompt design, and then use large language model to do the sentiment analysis part. And then we go to emotional scoring and visualization. And next is prompt design. We design a prompt. Although I think that prompt design may not that useful in the future because the future large language model will get better and better. They will know understand your prompt more easily. But also, I think it should help sometimes during this period. And then the emotions from characters we also produce like these visualization parts. And then the future works. Because in fact, I think the methodology still got lots of things to improve. For example, we could use these different models. Yeah, everyone knows that models are keep updating all the days, especially for O and Gemini and Cloud. I don't know. Maybe next year there will be GPT-5. Maybe, yeah. So, oh, by the way, because I couldn't find the appropriate emoji, so I just added glasses and head on. Okay. And then the different corpus is also considered. Because, this time we use the Chinese classic novel. But I think this method could be put into different novels or different corpus in the future. But I think the key of the method is that your corpus needs to has lots of dialogues because we are based on characters' dialogues. And also, sometimes some characters are not that chatty. They don't want to talk a lot. So this may not detect these characters' emotion. And then also, the scoring system could be updated because for now, we just use a simple method, a simple calculation to do the score system part. But I think there should be the more complex system in the future if I could, because it needs time to design. And also, maybe the dialogues, how long the dialogue is, and which words could be the scoring part, and add some different calculation is in our consideration. But I think that it will be more different kind of scoring system in the future, I guess. Yeah. So this is the end of my talk, and thank you. And